This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to speak about why you should never lie on an application for insurance, and when, if you conceal or misrepresent a material fact in that application, you will find that the law requires the policy to be rescinded from its inception as if it never existed. Allied World Insurance Company issued a general liability policy, actually two, to Mr. Clint Lovette and his companies in the construction business for the policy periods March 16, 2018 to March 16, 2019, and from March 16, 2019 to 2020. Allied World sought a judicial determination in its favor that it does not owe the Lovette Defendants a defense or indemnity regarding the two cases. In a case entitled Allied World versus Lovette Properties et al., the United States District Court for the Northern District of Alabama on March 15, 2024, resolved the disputes. In early September of 2017, a family called the Wheelers threatened to sue Lovette Properties to recover sums paid in the Wheeler project, which was not completed by the end of 2017. The Wheelers informed Lovette that they were considering all available options for remedying the situation and asserted that their letter does not constitute a waiver of any of our rights or remedies, all of which were expressly reserved. In the issuance of the two policies, one renewing the first, on April 16, 2018, for the first policy, Clint Lovette, on behalf of Lovette Properties, signed and submitted a contractor's supplemental application requesting general liability insurance coverage from Allied World. In the contractor's supplemental application, Lovette falsely represented: 1, that the Lovette defendants had no losses, claims, or suits against them in the past 8 years. 2, that no claims or legal actions were pending. 3, that the Lovette defendants had no knowledge of any pre-existing act, omission, event, condition, or damage to any person or property that might reasonably be expected to give rise to any future claim or legal action against any person or entity identified in the application. 4, that the Lovette defendants had not been accused of faulty construction in the past 8 years. And 5, that the Lovette defendants had not been accused of breaching a contract in the past 8 years. The Wheelers filed an arbitration complaint against Lovette, seeking recovery of the costs associated with completing the renovation of their home that Lovette had abandoned. Consequential damages for the cost of repairs to the house, the costs for maintaining another household during construction, damages for mental anguish and emotional distress, and exemplary damages to the extent permitted by law, and the cost of this action, attorney's fees, expenses, and interest on the judgment as allowed by the law. Then, on April 15, 2020, a couple named Allison and Carl Adams sued Lovette. In their complaint, the Adams alleged that the Lovette Properties abandoned the project before completion and left their house in a manner that did not comply with the applicable building codes and industry standards. The Adams case was tried as a bench trial that entered a judgment for $149,214.23 in favor of the Adamses only on the contractual and negligence claims. Allied World asserted that summary judgment in its favor was proper because the policies must be rescinded, and thus Allied World is relieved of its obligation to defend or indemnify the Lovette defendants in both the Wheeler arbitration and the Adams lawsuit. Alabama allows rescission under its code section 27-14-7. Because the Lovette Defendants' misrepresentations, omissions, concealment of fact, and incorrect statements in the 2018 and 2019 Contractor Supplemental Application, Alabama statutes prevent recovery under the policies, and an insurer can rescind a policy or deny coverage if in the application or in negotiations, therefore, the insured made misstatements that either 1 were fraudulent, that is, made intentionally with knowledge, 2 were material to the risk, although innocently made, or 3 affected the insurer's good faith decision to issue the policy for which the insured applied. In Alabama, misrepresentation of a material fact made willfully to deceive or recklessly without knowledge and acted on by the opposite party, or if made by mistake and innocently and acted on by the opposite party, constitutes legal fraud. Under the language of Allied World's policy, even if Lovette's misrepresentations were innocently made, Allied World has a right to void the policy so long as the misrepresentations were 1, material, and 2, relied upon. Based on the record, it was readily apparent to the court that the application contained misrepresentations and that Allied World was entitled to rescind the insurance policies. The court noted that an insurer may void a policy if it can show that 1, the insurer in good faith would either not have issued the policy or contract, or would not have issued a policy or contract at the premium rate as applied for, or would not have issued a policy or contract in as large an amount, or would not have provided coverage with respect to the hazard resulting in the loss if the true facts had been known to the insurers required either by the application for the policy or contract or otherwise. 2, the key question is the good faith of the insurer in refusing to issue the policy. 3, to meet its burden, Allied World offered the affidavit of Preston Starr. In his affidavit, Starr states that had Lovette given a yes answer to any of the questions at issue in this matter, it would have charged a higher premium for the policy and would never have issued a policy that provided coverage for any claims out of the Lovette's work done for the Wheelers. In addition, Starr affirmed that whenever an applicant discloses a known incident that would arise into a future claim, he would consistently and repeatedly attach a known claimant incident exclusion form to the policy that documents the name of the party alleging potential wrongdoing, the date of the alleged loss, and as many specific details as possible, so that if a claim shows up in the future on the policy, Allied World would have an exclusion specifically excluding coverage for that claim. Therefore, under Alabama law, testimony from an insurance company's underwriter that it is supported by other uncontradicted evidence in the record, such as the company's underwriting guidelines, can be sufficient to establish materiality, or that a company in good faith would not have issued the policy as written as a matter of law. For these reasons, summary judgment in Allied World's favor is due to be granted, and both policies are due to be rescinded. In my opinion, Alabama law, like that in most cases and in most states, allows for rescission of a policy when the insured obtains a policy by concealment or misrepresentation about a material fact. Lovette did not advise Allied World of the pending claims which were material to the decision of Allied World to insure or not insure Lovette. Equity, therefore, required the policies to be declared void from their inception. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog, and at that point you can subscribe to the blog, and you will receive notice of every blog posting, usually 5, sometimes 6 a week, and access to the more than 4,750 blog postings. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and the videos, and let them also subscribe to the blog and the videos. They're free. And if you're interested in more detail about insurance, insurance claims, insurance fraud, and insurance law, please consider, for a very small fee, subscribing to my Substack publication. Thank you for your attention.